So hello, welcome to Popalong RC, the RC car channel dedicated to RC car racing, and this is the moment I thought would never happen. I am over the moon. Here at Popalong RC, we are massive fans of the Tamiya Minis, and especially the Tamiya Mini Cooper, and now it is available on the MB-01 chassis. Now, the MB-01 chassis is one that we've already built here on the channel, and the great thing about the MB-01 is you can run it 3 different lengths. So you can run the short chassis, which is ideal for the Mini Cooper. You can run a medium and a long chassis. With the build, again, another unique feature of the MB-01 is that you can run the car front wheel drive or rear wheel drive. So in this video we are going to build up the MB-01 as a rear wheel drive car, and then I'll show you how to convert it from a rear wheel drive car into a front wheel drive car, which is ideal for the Mini Cooper. And then we're going to finish with my thoughts of the MB-01, because I have actually run the MB-01 as a Mini, running this shell here, which is it's not a Tamiya Mini, but this is my rusty Mini, which I have run on the MB-01. So let's delve a little deeper into the MB-01 build. With regards diff oil, ideally I think for this, for racing, I'd like to use the AW grease. Unfortunately, I've not got any AW grease in at the moment, so I'm using this Core RC diff putty, which is, as you can see, quite sticky, quite thick, and what it'll do is give me quite a nice diff action on the car. For most race classes that I run in, I would not be able to lock up this diff. I've just put in the outdrives there just to test the diff action before continuing on with the build. This little bit here is a little bit fiddly trying to get in these little bars, especially this one here. But what happens is once you've found it and you've got it set inside, you just push down the plastic bit on the end, and then there is a black C-clip, as you can see here, which clips over the top and seals it in place so that can't come out. And this is a nice little design, really, quite like it. So on go the bearings that I've got from rcbearings.co.uk. As I say, in the original box you would get some brass spacers that go there. So I packed out the diff a little bit too much, so you can see there's a little bit of leakage of grease on the outside of those gears. But this goes together really nicely, and yeah, really nice design. So I've put the motor in, as you can see in the centre of the car there. I was actually sort of curious as to how difficult it is to change the pinion if need be, and since building the car, it's literally 2 screws and it takes that whole centre piece out, so it is quite an easy thing to do. So as you can see there, the front goes together quite nicely. The little black washers I've opted to take out, actually, because I wanted the front end to move freely, and I found it was sticking a little bit with the rubber washer in, the little O-ring. I may live to regret that later on, but initially I'm going to stick with what I have got. As I say, this is being set up rear wheel drive at the moment. And that is the bottom of the chassis, just to show you how it all sort of looks under there. Really nice design, this chassis. Really pleased with how it looks. Next thing was putting the servo in, so I've obviously got my servo checker here where I can sort of test that the servo's working, and I can get it centered up without having to wire up the whole car. I can simply push the middle button and it centers it for me. really starting to look good now. You can see that really long arm on the steering. That's because this is rear wheel drive, so the motor's situated at the back of the car, drive going into the rear wheels, and then the long arm is steering the wheels up at the front. And that is pretty much it. So in order to make it into a front wheel drive, there are a few things that you need to change. So obviously I need to be steering the wheels closest to the servo, therefore I'll take off the posts with the body posts from the two towers and switch them over, and then I need to get the shorter link so that I can link the servo to the steering arm. When you're doing this, you also have to rotate the servo 180 degrees just to give you the space in order to do that. One last thing that you need to do then is undo 2 screws at the front. There's another 2 screws underneath the chassis you need to undo, and what that allows you to do is pop the front off there, and you can take the diff out, rotate it 180 degrees and pop it back in. So that just reverses the drive on the diff, and that is, put simply, is how you convert it from a rear wheel drive to a front wheel drive. So there's not really much to it. I really like the fact that you've got those options that we've already discussed with the different lengths and whether you can run it front wheel drive or rear wheel drive. But for me, it's always going to be a front wheel drive car because, as you can see by the cars I've got on my table today, I'm a massive fan of the Tamiya Mini. So in terms of racing this car, obviously we race in the Iconic Cup, and my favourite car of choice is either the M03 or what I've got here is an M05. So the M03 and M05s are great cars. The newer version, which is the M07, which again is a front wheel drive car, isn't legal for the Iconic Cup because the Iconic Cup is a vintage competition. So I tend to run the M03 and M05. The MB-01 has very similar driving characteristics to the M03. The problems that I did have with it were if you make contact with the barriers, the front arms, the little ball studs pop out, which is an issue. There is a fix for it. There are some little hop-ups you can get to strengthen that, to stop that from happening. Once that is done, I think the car is going to be quite tunable. Obviously, if you get some oil-filled shocks on there, and do some tuning, changing the gearing to get you a little bit more speed and power around the track, it's going to be a great car. Am I going to be getting the brand new MB-01 Mini Cooper? I don't think I can't get it. I have. Do you know what? I have to have my own version. Saying that, there is an announcement that there are going to be other Mini Coopers coming to the range, which makes me think they might re-release the M05, or fingers crossed they might re-release the M03 with the Mini Cooper shell now that they have got permission to manufacture it. At least I will be buying myself a couple of shells so that I can get them on the cars that I've already got, because the Tamiya Mini shell is the superior shell in my opinion. It's much nicer than these ones, although these ones work well for racing. For a shelf queen, you can't go wrong with a Tamiya Mini shell. So I'm definitely 100% going to be getting myself a new shell for the cars that I've got, and quite possibly an MB-01. But do I just wait, hold fire, and see what other cars they're going to bring to the range running the Tamiya Mini Cooper shell? Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Hopefully it's been informative. And are you going to be getting the MB-01? even if it's just for the shell. Put it in the comments down below, like, subscribe, hit the old ding dong bell, and hopefully we'll see you trackside soon.